Hey there, my name is Brian and I thought I would do a little tasting video on one of my favorite grapes, which is Pinot Noir. I used to be really into bigger wines when I first started drinking, which was not that long ago, a few years ago. I was really into Cabernets and Australian Shirazes. And in the last maybe 6 months to a year, I've really come around to Pinot Noir, learned to appreciate it, the complexity, how tough it is to grow, how great it can be when it's at its best. I thought I would line up 4 Pinots, 2 from Burgundy. I've got an Ontario Pinot here from Hidden Bench. This is the Cloudy Bay Pinot Noir. I think it's from Marlborough. Yep, it is. And then I've got a Volnay. This is Clos de Chenes. It's 2003, so kind of a warm year in Burgundy. We'll see what happens when we get to that glass over here. And then I've got a Chassagne-Montrachet, mostly known for its whites, but there's a few reds being grown there. And this is the Clos Saint-Jean Premier Cru 2013. So a little young, but hey, why not? I have a bottle of it. And I thought I would line these all up and just kind of see what happens. Mostly around the $30 to $50 price range. I'm in Canada, so if these prices aren't exactly what you'll find in the States, my apologies. I Coravined these two. Everything's been sitting out for about an hour now, so it's had a bit of a chance to breathe. I Coravined the Volnay and the Chassagne-Montrachet. This was a screw top, the Cloudy Bay, so I just pulled it open, gave it a little pour, and opened the Hidden Bench and gave that a bit of a pour. So let's start off on this side. We've got, as I said, the Hidden Bench 2013 Pinot Noir Unfiltered. I'll link it up below. This was $30 in Canada from the LCBO. I'm in Ontario, so the LCBO is where we get our wines. Color on it, little dark. It's kind of got some nice hints of purple, little bit of brown on the red. You can see that there's a bit of sediment, probably from it being unfiltered. Give it a swirl. It's actually pretty nice. On the nose, I'm getting a lot of really ripe strawberry, maybe some soft cherry, a hint of earth, which I like quite a bit. A little bit of rose petals, bit of florality in there. Overall, pretty well balanced nose. I'd say it's pretty good. Let's give it a taste. I'm not spitting, I'm going to swallow. The tannins on this are kind of interesting, and I think that some of the unfiltered sediment or whatever is left around in this glass is kind of playing into those tannins and raising them a little bit. It's a little too noticeable for me. It's overpowering the wine. The tannins are still soft. It's still not that strong, which it shouldn't be for Pinot, at least for me. But overall, the unfiltered is kind of bothering me. Overall, it's okay. The attack starts out with kind of the same stuff on the nose, that cherry, that strawberry. It's a little hollow on the mid palate. It's a little thin, a little watery. Overall, I'd say it's a decent effort. I'd probably give it a pass at $30. Maybe if it was in the 18 to 20 range, it would be okay. There's nothing really too offensive about it, but it just doesn't really do it for me. Next, we've got the Chassagne-Montrachet 2013 Premier Cru Clos Saint-Jean. I was fortunate enough to spend a few weeks over the winter in Bordeaux and then in Burgundy, just going around tasting. Really special for me. I've only been into wine for a few years now, and to be candid, I was in complete heaven. I was really giddy in Bordeaux and just had the best time, got to taste some incredible wines. And Burgundy was great to just stay in Beaune and then take a bike and ride through some of the villages. And when I was in Chassagne-Montrachet, I picked up this bottle. So this bottle's pretty special for me. It's kind of the first thing I ever bought while I was actually in Burgundy. It is young, it's 2013. 2013 is not known to be the year in Burgundy, but I remember liking it when I tasted it there. And it's the lightest of the 4 wines in color. It seems the softest, a little bit kind of pinky red, which is very nice. The most clean and clear. The nose, let's see here. Really beautiful. Lots of earth complexity. There's rose petals. There's kind of fresh strawberry. Bit of pine. There's almost like a hint of mushroom earthiness going on in here, which is quite nice. So give it a taste. This is really good. This is it's really long. Those strawberries are there. That cherry is there. There's kind of that mushroom earthiness quality that I like quite a bit. It's pretty complex, even though it's really light. The tannins are really nice and soft in it, not overpowering. This is very delicate. I picked this bottle up for 40 euro, I think, while I was in Beaune. Something of equivalent quality in Canada might be around the $80 mark. It is a bit young. I'm imagining that this is going to just get better with age, but it's 2013. It's not a year that I'm going to store and hold in a cellar, but this is really good. It's more complex and rounded out than I thought it was actually going to be. This would pair really nice with some kind of chicken with like maybe some herbs on top. Try this one more time. That is really tasty. This, I'd highly recommend picking up a bottle if you get a chance to find it. This is produced by Ramonet, and again, it's the Chassagne-Montrachet Premier Cru Clos Saint-Jean. I can't remember, I had another Clos Saint-Jean while I was in Chassagne-Montrachet, and I got to try same hill, 2 different producers. They were both very good, both excellent wines. I remember going back and forth between the 2. Not quite sure which one I liked the most, and after a little bit I decided that I did like the Ramonet version a bit better, and that's why I picked up this bottle. This is good. This is good stuff. Moving on, we've got the Cloudy Bay 2014 Pinot Noir made in Marlborough. Now I bought this because I find in the past when I've done tastings like this, it's easy to say, okay, well, the Burgundy blew everything out of the water. It was 3 times the price than a $15 bottle. So I thought I would pick up what is a higher end Cloudy Bay. I mean, I'm not usually a huge fan of Cloudy Bay, but this was $45 in Canada. So I figured getting similar in price point, everything here is between 30 and I guess about $50-ish. Maybe the Chassagne might be in the 65 if you convert the euros to Canadian. Anyway, this isn't a $15 New Zealand Pinot. That's the point. I wanted to see what a better upscale effort would be like. Let's see. It's dark in color, darker than the Chassagne-Montrachet. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but certainly darker, more on the purpley side than the softness of the Chassagne-Montrachet that's kind of in the slightly brickish red, pink, soft see-through. Something funky going on here. It seems a bit baked on the nose. The fruit isn't quite fresh. This is more in the Swedish berry, cherry, jammed kind of territory for me, which I'm not a huge fan of, but there's also something artificial here. I'm not sure if it's burnt rubber. It kind of smells like a tire. if you go to any kind of hardware store that sells car parts and you go to the tire section, there's a bit of that going on here. Kind of a pine cedar note, which is probably from the oak. This is almost into medium tannin kind of territory. They're still really soft, but they're dominating this wine. There's also higher alcohol than I would have thought this would have been, although I guess for the region and the temperature, maybe not. Little hollow. That fruit isn't as confected on the palate as it was on the nose. The nose is really dominated by this kind of rubbery quality that I can't quite get past. Decent finish. The mid palate is really where this is lacking for me. It's too thin. The fruit's not right, and I taste a bit of that artificial rubber pine quality going on in it, and it's just not great for me. Overall, you know, at the $44–45 price range, this to me is a pass. I wouldn't recommend picking that up. Let's move on. So the last bottle I have is the Volnay Clos de Chenes. It's 2003. So as I was saying before, 2003, warm year in Burgundy. Probably resulted in higher alcohol. Not quite the year that usually people track down. I was given this bottle while I was in Burgundy, so why not share it with you guys? It's certainly the darkest in color of everything on the table. I guess the hidden bench is the next darkest. I don't know if you can see that, but this is dark. This almost, you know, is presenting itself like a cab. It's got some kind of outer rims of orange. That's probably the age on the wine. It's 2003, so we're into 13 years old at this point. But really pretty dark, not typical for what I'm used to in a Pinot. Let's give it a swirl. Has a bit of that raisin quality. Think of Amarone here, where you've got that raisinated grape quality. It's not quite as amped up as an Amarone. That to me is just, oh, box of raisins, put it away. But there is a hint of that, and that's probably the age on the wine and a bit of the warm year in Burgundy showing through. Kind of strawberry and cherry, but later in its life. There's a bit of a wet bag of leaves on a forest floor, which I actually like. Usually in Bordeaux, I like that. In aged Bordeaux, and that's the age that's showing, as that fruit's kind of going from fresh fruit into later in its life fruit. A lot of tannins actually in this. This is in the medium territory. This to me is not really a great expression of Pinot. It's still fairly well balanced, and this is this is a good region. Burgundy obviously has a ton of experience growing Pinot. Really good acidity, really good fruit. Everything's sitting in balance. Nothing is out of whack here, but that warm temperature from that year is really making the fruit a bit baked for me. And I'm not sure that I like it. I think if I wanted something that was more fuller bodied, I'd probably not be in the Pinot world, and I would be in maybe Northern Rhone, something from Clos Hermitage, if I wanted to try getting something really great but for a decent price. Let's see again. The tannins are really dominating here. and that's a problem for me. The cherry is very nice, very tasty here, but the tannins are just really taking over my mouth here. I think overall I would say this is a pass. This is a great region. I think it's the year here that's the issue. So I would stay away from a 2003, but if you get an opportunity to try something from a different year, a better known vintage, for sure worth doing. There's some really great stuff coming out of Volnay, and Burgundy in general for me is, you know, my favorite in the world for Pinot. Overall, to me, I would have to recommend the Chassagne-Montrachet. Even at about a $50 price point, this is really good. This was really complex. It was big in terms of it was round. It had lots going on. It was long on the palate. It was really interesting, but not big in terms of dominating whatever you're going to eat with it. This is a pretty versatile wine. It's very beautiful and delicate. Think of like a beautiful, soft, elegant wine would be how to describe this. The color is light. You could drink this pretty much at any point. It's so great. I'm just trying to see what the alcohol levels are here. This was 13.5%. Volnay was also 13.5. Wow, I'm surprised. I thought that this was closer to 14 or 14.5. Just going to try the Chassagne-Montrachet one last time. Just go back to it because this was my favorite. This is beautiful. This is really great. If I could pour it through the lens to you and share it with you, maybe I wouldn't, because I kind of want to drink it all myself. And that's kind of the problem I have with wine. That is great. I always have this problem where really good stuff, of course, part of the fun of wine is sharing it with other people, sharing it with friends, sharing it with other wine lovers. But you also have the problem of the few people at the table who don't quite know what this is or why it's special. And at the price point for me of you know, $60 Canadian, 40 euro a bottle, it's tough to, you know, pour glasses for people who are equally happy with, let's say, Argentina Malbec. But wine, I do love sharing with people. I had a few friends over a couple days ago, and we sat around and we tasted a few different bottles and talked about our notes on them. And that to me is really what this is all about, is sharing with other people your thoughts, trying new things. I hope everyone goes out, buys a bottle of Pinot, share with me below what it is you're trying, what you liked, what you didn't like, worth the price, not worth the price. And till next episode, all for now.